The wine glass shattered against the kitchen wall, burgundy liquid running down like blood. Ethan stood in the doorway, his face twisted with the kind of rage that had been building for months, waiting for my sister Kate to leave for her night shift at the hospital. "Enough," he roared, his expensive suit still pristine despite his fury. "I've had enough of you lounging around my house, eating my food, contributing nothing." I sat down my laptop carefully, the acquisition documents I'd been reviewing still glowing on the screen. "Ethan, I've offered to pay rent multiple times." "Dash, with what money?" He laughed, the sound harsh and mocking. "You sit here all day in your pajamas, pretending to work on that laptop. What kind of job lets you stay home every day? What kind of career is that?" If only he knew. But I'd promised Kate I'd keep quiet about my company, about the success I'd built while living in their guest room. She begged me not to make Ethan feel inadequate when I'd sold my condo to handle the company's expansion privately. "I'm between offices," I said quietly, which was technically true. My new headquarters wouldn't be ready for another month. "Between offices," he mimicked. "You mean between jobs? Between handouts? Between freeloading opportunities?" He stepped closer, his cologne overwhelming in the small kitchen. "You're nothing but an unemployed leech. Samantha, a parasite living off my family's generosity." Ethan Dash, no more excuses. He slammed his hand on the counter. "I want you out tonight. Go find some other family member to mooch off of. Or better yet, get a real job like the rest of us." I could have told him then, could have shown him the Forbes article calling me tech's most mysterious unicorn founder, could have pulled up my bank statements showing the 8 figures sitting in my business accounts, could have mentioned that his precious house could fit in the lobby of the building I just purchased downtown. Instead, I closed my laptop and stood. "You're right, I'll pack my things." His face flickered with surprise as if he'd expected more fight. "Good. And don't think about running to Kate with tears. She agrees with me. We just can't afford to carry dead weight anymore." Dead weight. I'd remember that. 2 hours later, I loaded my Tesla, which Ethan had always assumed was leased with my belongings. Everything I owned fit easily. When you travelled between international offices as much as I did, you learned to live light. Kate was conveniently still at work, spared from witnessing her husband's performance. I texted her from the driveway. "Ethan asked me to leave. I'll be at the Ritz downtown. Love you." Her response came immediately. "What? Sam, no, let me talk to him." "It's fine," I typed back. "Probably for the best. We'll talk later." The Ritz suite was a pleasant change from the suburban guest room. Florida ceiling windows overlooked the city I'd been quietly conquering for the past 3 years. My assistant Marcus had already set up a temporary office in the living area. "Welcome back to civilization," he said, handing me a stack of contracts. "The acquisition closed this morning. Fantasy Industries is officially ours." Fantasy Industries, the cybersecurity firm that every tech company in the city was courting. The one Ethan's company, Pinnacle Solutions, had been desperately trying to partner with for 2 years. "Send out the announcement Monday," I instructed. "Full press release, and Marcus, make sure it includes my photo this time. I'm tired of being the invisible CEO," he grinned. "Finally ready to come out of the shadows," something like that. The weekend passed in a blur of meetings and strategy sessions. My CFO flew in from Singapore. My head of acquisitions arrived from London. By Sunday night, we'd mapped out Fanta's integration and planned the announcement that would reshape the city's tech landscape. Monday morning arrived with all the subtlety of a hurricane. The press release went live at 8 a.m. Nexus Technologies acquires Fant Industries for $500 million. CEO Samantha Chun to oversee integration. My phone exploded with notifications. journalists wanting interviews, competitors wanting to talk, and there, buried among the chaos, a text from Kate. Samantha Chin, the Samantha Chin, why didn't you tell me? I was contemplating my response when Marcus knocked. Sam, that contract review you requested is here. Pinnacle Solutions proposal for the cybersecurity partnership. Right. In all the drama, I'd forgotten that Pinnacle, Ethan's company, had submitted a proposal to FanTC just before the acquisition. A proposal that was now sitting on my desk. I flipped through it, recognizing Ethan's bold handwriting in the margins. $3 million for a 5-year exclusive partnership. Terms that heavily favored Pinnacle. Assumptions that Fant was desperate enough to accept whatever was offered. Schedule a meeting, I told Marcus. Full board presentation. Let's see what Pinnacle Solutions has to offer. Nexus Technologies. The CEO is Ethan Lawson, Marcus noted, checking his tablet. He's been calling all morning, quite insistent about meeting with you personally. I'm sure he has. I smiled. Tell him Thursday, 2 p.m, full presentation to the board. No exceptions. The next 3 days were delicious torture. Ethan called my office 17 times. He sent flowers. He had his assistant send gift baskets. He even showed up at the Nexus building only to be politely turned away by security. Kate's texts ranged from apologetic to furious to bewildered. Sam, I'm so sorry. He had no idea who you were. Why didn't you tell us? He's panic cleaning the guest room. Please talk to him. He might cry. Thursday arrived like Christmas morning. I dressed carefully. The same pajamas Ethan had mocked, but upgraded with a blazer worth more than his car. The boardroom at Nexus was intimidating by design. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a table that could seat 30, and my chair positioned to catch the afternoon light like a spotlight. Ethan arrived 15 minutes early with his team. I watched on the security monitor as they set up their presentation, his hands shaking slightly as he arranged his materials. He'd worn his best suit, had gotten a fresh haircut. He looked like a man heading to his execution. At exactly 2 p.m, I entered the boardroom with my executive team. The moment Ethan saw me, his face went through a spectacular journey. Confusion, recognition, horror, and finally a sort of resigned despair. Samantha, he croaked. Ms. Chun, I corrected pleasantly, taking my seat at the head of the table. Thank you for coming, Mr. Lawson. I understand Pinnacle Solutions has a proposal for our newly acquired FanTC division. His team looked between us, sensing the undercurrents but not understanding them. Ethan's lead developer, a sharp woman named Patricia, stepped forward. We're excited to present our comprehensive cybersecurity partnership proposal, she began, clearly prepared to take over for her frozen CEO. Actually, I interrupted, I'd like to hear from Mr. Lawson directly. After all, as CEO, he should be able to articulate his company's value proposition. Isn't that right, Ethan? He stood slowly like a man approaching the gallows. Miss Chun, Samantha, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Oh. I leaned back in my chair. What kind of misunderstanding? Are you not seeking a $3 million contract with our cybersecurity division? Yes, but dash, then please proceed. Tell me why Nexus Technologies should partner with Pinnacle Solutions. Convince me you're not just... I paused, savouring the moment. Dead weight. His flinch was visible from across the room. Behind him, his team shifted uncomfortably. Perhaps, he started, then stopped, swallowed, tried again. Perhaps we could discuss this privately first. I don't believe in private discussions for business matters, I said coolly. Transparency is one of our core values at Nexus. Now you have 20 minutes to convince my board that Pinnacle Solutions deserves our partnership. I suggest you use them wisely. What followed was the most painful presentation I'd ever witnessed. Ethan stumbled through slides, mixed up statistics, and repeatedly lost his train of thought. His team tried to help, but I kept directing questions back to him, each one a little needle reminder of every insult he'd thrown at me. Tell me, Mr. Lawson, how does Pinnacle Solutions handle parasitic attacks on their clients' systems? What measures does your company take to avoid being a leech on resources? How do you ensure your solutions contribute real value rather than just taking up space? By minute 15, he'd stopped trying. He stood at the head of the table, shoulders slumped, and finally met my eyes. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I was wrong. I was cruel. I was everything I accused you of being. The room went silent. His team stared. My board members shifted in their seats. I see, I said finally. And this apology? Is it because you discovered I'm CEO of Nexus or because you genuinely recognize what you did wrong? Both, he admitted. I wish I could say it was just the second, but both. I nodded, appreciating the honesty if nothing else. Patricia, I addressed his lead developer. Would you mind finishing the presentation? I'd like to see what Pinnacle actually offers beyond its CEO's personal failures. Patricia, to her credit, salvaged what she could. The proposal wasn't bad. Uninspired, perhaps, and overpriced, but solid enough. Under different circumstances, it might have been considered. When she finished, I stood. Thank you all for coming. Well, be in touch with our decision within 5 business days. Ethan lingered as his team filed out. Samantha Dash, Miss Chun, I corrected again. And whatever you want to say, save it. You made your position very clear when you threw me out of your house for being unemployed. The fact that you were wrong about my employment status doesn't change the fundamental problem. You saw someone you thought was vulnerable and you attacked. That tells me everything I need to know about working with you. Kate is devastated, he said desperately. She had no idea what I said to you. She's barely spoken to me since Dash. Kate is my sister and I love her, I interrupted, which is why I kept my success quiet. She asked me to protect your ego. But you're just a bully who got caught. Now get out of my boardroom. He left, shoulders bowed, dignity in tatters. I felt a small pang of sympathy that I quickly squashed. He'd shown me no mercy when he thought I was powerless. I owed him nothing now that the tables had turned. The contract went to a competitor. Naturally, word spread quickly through the tech community. Ethan Lawson had somehow personally insulted the mysterious CEO of Nexus Technologies. His board asked pointed questions. His investors grew nervous. Within 6 months, Pinnacle Solutions was struggling, and Ethan was quietly replaced. Kate and I reconciled, though it took time. She genuinely had no idea about Ethan's behaviour, had been working extra shifts to help with their mortgage. Thinking I was struggling too. When she learned I'd bought my building in cash, she laughed until she cried. You let me bring you grocery store coupons. She gasped between giggles. I gave you my old clothes. I like the coupons, I protested. And your clothes are comfortable. You're wearing a $1,000 blazer over Superman pajama pants. It's called Fashion Kate. Look it up. She moved in with me after the divorce into the penthouse I'd bought in the same building as my office. Ethan had tried to claim alimony, arguing that Kate's family wealth, meaning me, should support him. The judge had not been amused. You know, Kate said one evening, sharing Chinese takeout, while overlooking the city lights. You could have just told him who you were that night, avoided all the drama. I could have, I agreed, but then he would have apologized for the wrong reasons. He would have pretended to respect me because of my money, not because he realized treating people badly is wrong. So this was what? A teaching moment. This was consequences. I corrected. He thought he could bully someone he saw as weak. He was wrong on both counts. I wasn't weak, and bullying is never acceptable. The fact that I turned out to be his potential biggest client, that's just karma with a corner office. She threw a fortune cookie at me. "You're terrible. I'm successful," I countered, "and I'm no longer anyone's unemployed leech, though I do still work from home in my pajamas sometimes." "The board must love that." "The board works for me," I reminded her. "If I want to run a billion-dollar company in Superman pajamas, that's my prerogative." Ethan sent one last message months later, a simple email. "I learned something valuable from all this. Thank you for the lesson, even if I deserve the pain that came with it. I hope you and Kate are happy." I didn't respond. Some bridges once burned weren't meant to be rebuilt. But I did appreciate the growth, even if it came too late. Now, when I walk into boardrooms in my signature pajama blazer combination, people know better than to judge. The story of Ethan Lawson became a cautionary tale in the tech world. Never assume someone's worth based on their appearance, their living situation, or their work from home status. And if you're going to call someone an unemployed leech, maybe, just maybe, make sure they're not the CEO of the company you're desperately trying to impress. Karma, as it turns out, sometimes comes with a 9-figure valuation and a corner office overlooking the city. And sometimes, just sometimes, it's wearing Superman pajama pants. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.